For a business to become super successful requires understanding of 14 dimensions. To top it off, the 4 hierarchies. The hierarchy of ownership, how the business ownership is structured and how does it expand as the business grows so that it can provide benefit to a larger structure of the organization. The ownership, the hierarchy of value creation, what the corporation is doing, how it is doing, why it is doing, and how can it create its market differentiation in order to become an iconic organization. Then the value creation hierarchy, how is it going to create value for the end user, for the shareholders, for the company, for the owners, for the workers, and all that. And how is it going to manage the image hierarchy, how the image is being positioned, portrayed locally, nationally, internationally, and how its identities from website to domain names to brand identities to sub-products, sub-brand, substructure, multiple division, and all those are functioning properly, and they are intellectual property assets of the company. They are not shared by 50 other organizations. They are not diluted. They are not into litigation. They are not being challenged by other people that this brand belongs to them. 95% of the time, name identities and brands of businesses are shared by multiple companies. Less than 1% organizations have single unique brand, one of a kind, and nobody else has that. Microsoft and Google and Octara and Expothon and Talas, these are all unique brand identities. There's a reason for it, that why they are unique. So these are the 4 structural hierarchies. So when the issues of vision becomes a serious challenge, these hierarchies come into the debate, in the discussion, and depending where they fall into, senior management, operational management, marketing management, production management, this crisscross discussion creates an understanding how the corporation should move and go forward. The more people understand the rules of engagement, the laws of governance, the methodologies and procedures, the better and sharper decision not only they can make, but also make the organization very clean, very sharp, and very profitable. To continue on the 14 dimension, the other aspects are the spheres. These spheres are cyclical. When you move a piece of component, it changes other parts. For example, if you were to introduce innovation, then what it does, it alters, creates new products, creates new markets, creates new identity, creates new profitable opportunities, and so on. It's very important for an organization to understand that how these cyclical, innovative components are going to interact with the team, so that the senior managed team can really understand who's doing what and why, and where the innovation, where is the center of innovation in the company, and how that innovation is going to cascade its benefit to the rest of the organization. The component or the dimension of marketing, how do you create your presence? Are you in one market or are you in 100 markets? And then each market has its own ramification. Prices, packaging, delivery, benefits, value creation, and so on. And then the sphere of the promise, that how do you deliver what you promise to do in the first place? And what processes and methodologies do you have in place? And what systems do you have to correct them, to improve them, to modify them, and to review them? Now, all these 14 dimensions, they are working simultaneously in conjunction with all the others. The more you push a button in one place, it ripple effects creates somewhere else in the organization. By bringing this process of vision evaluation, you can see simultaneously in real time, in real life, that how making these variable changes, how the organization is moving. And if you apply sophisticated methodology, you can literally see your vision alive like a three-dimensional object, whereby calibrating certain parts, you can change your and modify your vision. Just like we talked about that in manufacturing, you have Six Sigma Balance Scorecard where they can take care of manufacturing processes. And by changing 3 screws and 2-3 processes, they can alter the picture of generating a particular product. The more you create the discussion of 14 dimension in the senior management circle, the top senior management circle, from 4, 10, 12, 20, 40 people, and then you divide them into teams, which we do in our program, and by positioning them under these dimensions and by following the path of how corporations should be structured, how should they move forward, and what are the processes, they acquire an advanced level of understanding. And that is a very senior level, a very advanced level of understanding. This allows you to basically take your vision apart, retweak it, reassemble it, put it together, take a look at your offering, product, pricing model, marketing conditions, break them apart, reassemble them together. And the more you do it, you develop perfection on it. And the more people get engaged into, they get mind share, and they start respecting and understanding each other, and they appreciate everybody's challenge and situation. And the end result is a very solid execution of vision, a very sharp delivery mechanism of the goods and services, a very sharper image of the proposition, value creation, and a very solid structure of ownership. And all these things, they only add up value at the bottom, results. But why do we do this? Why is it important to do it? How do we do it? And how do we advance this knowledge to people who have never seen, never experienced, and most probably never heard? Because this is outside the university leagues. This is outside the normal training and management consulting league. This is advanced work, and this is all under the philosophy on how to achieve image supremacy. Image supremacy is not advertising, branding, logos, slogan, and all the campaign. Image supremacy is that you create a very distinct marketing position and you create a situation where you become an icon because you have the value, you have the quality, you have the understanding of the market, the customer, and the knowledge. So let's go into how do we do it and what are the direct benefits for a process like this. We've been talking about the 14 dimensions. We have already covered like some of the 7 or 8. Now we come to finance, an important dimension of the business. Traditionally, normally, the dimension of finance to most companies is on the top. In our process, we put it in the lower middle part because we look at finance as a very important dimension, but not the most important and critical. We place emphasis on value creation and image generation as the most critical component to grow the business. And we find that those corporations who are only focused on finance, unless you're running hedge funds or some kind of a money-making scheme or selling commodities or whatever, perhaps it would work. But if you're in the business of creating hardcore value, products and services and special deliverables, then quality production, But how do you get quality? How do you get quality production? Not by reading a manual, but by understanding why and how you are there to achieve what, for what reason, at this particular time and junction of time, and then you go out and you deliver it. To use the beaten up example, 1 yard of leather creates a purse. Some people have difficulty selling it for 1,000 rupees, and some people have those sold out at $10,000. Same yard of leather. It is not a question of extra zipper or extra button or a color. It is a question of understanding how to produce a purse, why somebody would buy it, why somebody would pay $10,000, and what value-added features are required in order for that person to buy it first as soon as possible. It's called the demand. How do you create the demand? How you create the differentiation? Those are 10 times or 100 times more important issues than finance. Finance is a historic passage. Product development, product innovation, creation, understanding consumer, understanding market, and having authoritative knowledge in your field. For example, pick up any product. There are 10,000 makers. So somebody makes leather jackets. So somebody makes sporting goods. So there are 500 of those. 500 in Pakistan and maybe 5,000 around the globe. So you got 5,000, 10,000 companies. And these are big companies with factories, production, salespeople, staff, management, website, organization, advertising, they have everything. So where is the unique proposition and the difference? If you don't have that unique proposition and difference, then what are we doing? Why are we wasting each other's time? Because until and unless the value proposition, the differentiation, the quality, the deliverables, and all these parallel to image generation, intellectual property, identity, brand, name, logo, design, all properly conceived, who cares what profit or loss you run into and why you are doing it? Because there are 5,000 others who are losing their shirt at this moment today. So what do we do? What do we do when we go to the boardroom? Our challenge is to try to bring a level of understanding, something that they have not encountered before, and that is delivered through the 14 dimensions.